So how was the hike today? How was the training for the goat? We're getting
Oh
down to it. How was it?
man, it was tough. So I figured out that I don't like weighing my backpack before I actually go on these hikes, and the reason why is because once I get that number in my head, it's like it messes with me, and then I don't know if I go slower or I just don't want to do it or what. So I don't weigh my pack before I go out and do a training hike, and then I wait when I get back. So it was actually pretty good considering what I had in there. We didn't want to break any records, so we just slow and steady and worked up a good sweat. And, it went good, foggy, but muddy. So what else
Yeah.
can you expect? So
What was the weight? What did the weight end up being?
uh, around 78 pounds, I think.
Okay.
So I had two water bottles and a bunch of food, and then I didn't weigh that because we drank all of our water and we ate all of our snacks. So
Hmm.
weighed probably about 78, 80 pounds. So, which is pretty good. I don't know if I'll do that again before I leave. So I think I'll just stick with about 55.
This is the taper, right? Where you do the extreme training, but in the last 2 weeks you kind of taper down so your body's ready to go, right?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to think. Yeah, I would much rather suffer now than in August and September because got some big plans. So hopefully I'll have a chance to suffer later as far as carrying out an animal. So, but yeah, I'll start tapering it down and doing still hiking, but just not near as much weight. That was kind of silly today.
And so this is with a new pack, but you've had probably a dozen or so hikes in the new pack as you're breaking it in there. What
Yeah,
you get?
probably about a
Are
10.
you using the load shelf, or are you just throwing stuff in the pack?
I'm just throwing stuff in the main bag for right now, just gear, and then I got a 35-pound sandbag that I threw in there today, and then I got a 25-pound plate that I'll alternate back and forth. Most of the time, it's just that 35-pound sandbag and then gear, but or just gear. So it gives me a rough kind of what it's going to feel like. So it definitely helps. That new pack is pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy with it so far. So.
Well, you're probably more happy you didn't stick with the one you bought to replace it because you were Kufaru. You bought a new brand replacement, didn't like it, sent it back, and went back to Kufaru, right? Is that how it went down?
Yeah, yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to experiment, and I thought wrong. A buddy of mine, he said, "Go throw 100 pounds in it, and then tell me how you feel." And yeah, it brought me back to reality. So then I sent it back and ordered my Cafardo, and won't go back. So yeah, worked out pretty good.
I went with Loa boots because they've been recommended. They have a nice firm sole,
Oh
and
yeah,
my Danners have been fine. They were just a little bit cheaper, and I was wondering what kind of the premium boot was, and I
yeah,
just didn't ever get those things to break in. And I think maybe that's the point of the hard sole, where maybe I have tender feet, but it just blistered up, and so I went back to Danners, and they're
oh,
comfortable, and I'm just going to really take care of them with the snow seal and try to keep them as waterproof as possible for as long as possible. But man,
there
if
you go.
if it works, then just keep buying the same thing, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in the Cafardo pack now. I won't ever steer clear again. I told a buddy of mine that if I try it again, just steer me back in the right direction because that was a silly move on my part. So
Yeah, I love my Stone Glacier. And I'm not curious about anything else. You can't. It's
yep,
too expensive to go down that and try everything.
I know. So yep, there's a reason why they make or that like they're one of the top selling backpacks. So I
Yeah,
mean,
if you're getting to that point, you can't go wrong. But
yeah, especially on the stuff that we do around here, it's just you need good gear that's going to last and it's going to be comfortable.
yeah. So you've been goat hunting before, and this is the next chapter of it. What's going to be different this time? What have you learned, and how are you preparing for this goat hunt compared to previous years?
Well, for starters, the first thing that's going to be, so last time I went goat hunting, I was extremely green. I think I had some off-brand backpack and pack in the kitchen sink, and probably 20 years old. And me and a buddy, he was just coming to be Sherpa and a camping partner. And I think just experience is one thing, and then gear, of course, and then the biggest thing is probably my weapon. So I'm not bringing a rifle. My friend will have a rifle. So there's three of us going, and I know there's going to be one rifle, and there's going to be my bow, and I'm not sure if so I'm not sure if my buddy's going to be, one of our other friends is going to be bringing his bow or not. But so the biggest thing is probably weapon. I'll be trying to get one with my bow because got that elk hunt coming up, and figured if I'm going to be trying to take down an elk with a bow, I better try to get a few critters underneath my belt start of the season. So we're giving ourselves plenty of time to go out there and try to get something. So we'll see what happens. But I'd say just weapon and experience is the two biggest things.
Yeah. What's one of the biggest things that you've learned, or something in the moment when you thought, oh, I got to store this because this is really key? What's something that's really stuck out as, and it could just be alpine hunting in general, but is there anything specific to goat that you really wanted to remember and apply this year?
Well, I'm no expert by any means, just trial and error, of course, like everybody else. But I would say don't pack the kitchen sink. The first time I went up, and probably the second time, it's just like you bring up stuff that you think you'll need, so you just throw it in the pack just because it's there, and then get up there and get back down to the house after a hunt or whatever, and it's like, holy crap, why did you bring that? That was kind of silly. I mean, ounces add up to pounds, I guess. So just don't pack excess stuff that you don't need. It's the biggest thing.
Yeah. For
those alpine hunts.
You and I are both doing an over-the-counter goat hunt, not the catch-can backyard hunt, which is darn near day hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So you are, without revealing like coordinates or anything like that, but
yeah.
Are you going to the same spot, or what are some things about that spot that you like? And then how do you get to that spot? I'm thinking of boating, anchoring, and then getting on a road, or boating, docking, and then taking my bike. I don't have a four-wheeler, so I'm biking for miles and miles and miles to get to an access point, and then hiking for miles. So are you going to the same spot, and what other logistical things do you have to deal with in order to get there?
So we are going to a very close spot that you're going to, but we're pretty much hiking and docking because I don't want to anchor, because we're going for so long. I don't want to anchor my boat up for 5 days and have it lose anchor or what have you. So we're just going to tie up to the dock, and hopefully that'll be safer. And then so we're going to, without getting too in detail, we're going to tie up to the dock and then hike back a couple miles and then start our hike on the actual mountain. So yeah, it's the biggest part that
depending on who's listening, it's funny that people can deduce, like in our brains, like you have to be super, because there's only a certain amount of docks. So if you're a local, if you're catching, like, oh, I probably know where they're going. But if you're not, like, whoa, you guys are being careful, but that's so unbelievably vague.
Yes.
It seems like mountain goats are people are even more protective about their spots, which rightfully so. I mean, you got to go get a mountain goat, which is an amazing hunt. But it's you gotta keep things close to the chest.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to tell everybody. I mean, I don't know if a bunch of people will go follow you up there, but we're going back far enough to where we're hoping nobody will be up there and we won't see anybody. So it'll be a fun time, that's for sure. So we're camping in this will be my first time actually in an alpine setting, where we're camping in one of those Kafaru floorless shelters.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, so bringing a tarp for the ground, so we won't really have to. So we're hoping we're not going to get wet, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I've been down in here in Wyoming for the past couple of weeks, and it seems like month, a little over a month now, it seems like it's rained pretty much every day in Ketchikan since I've been gone.
It has. Hopefully you bring some sun back with you. I'm getting tired of this fall weather.
I'm hoping, man. Every time I start thinking about these hunts, I just imagine, I don't know why, I just default to the perfect hunt, and it's just sunny.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah. You don't have to worry about all that extra nonsense. The last time I was hypothermic was last August, and it was you're hiking in the rain. It was just downpouring. You're sweating, and then got up there, and then deployed my little shelter. And we were just kind of white out because the weather was supposed to break, and I had like all my clothes on. I put my puffy on, but my jacket didn't fit. It was like a little snug, and so it's like a summer puffy. It's not even like a real puffy. It was a weak puffy,
Okay.
AV puffy, and so it got wet, and so everything was wet, and I wasn't moving. I just got cold, and like I couldn't feel my hands or like part of my hand a little bit, and I was like, oh man, this is not to make a huge deal out of being hypothermic, but when you've been cold a lot of times, you think, oh, this is your phase one. This is your JV level. This is your introduction to hypothermia. I got to get up and I got to start moving because I can't just lay here wet and cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was August, man. Like, it doesn't take much. You get that 50-degree day where or 54 and it's raining, and you stop hiking and you're soaked, man. It's no fun at all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're talking just an hour, and you're so probably. I mean, can even be quicker than that. But yeah, that's definitely a nerve-wracking feeling for sure.
Yeah.
Start doing some push-ups or something.
Yeah.
Get some body heat going.
Yeah, I did some squats, and that got some things going a little bit, which is nice. And then the weather broke as it was supposed to, which is rare. But
Yeah.
and then it was just kind of that high ceiling, which is nice. You get a little bit of wind, so it keeps the bugs off. And that's just great. If you can see the tops of the mountains and yeah, that's great. Do you,
Yeah.
this applies for deer and goat. There are times when I've been with people who use the fog as an opportunity to move without being seen. Do you stay put in the fog, or if you're familiar with the mountain range and the ridge, and do you move in the fog, or do you stay put?
Usually I kind of am very careful in the fog. Last year I wasn't familiar with the mountain that me and a other friend have gone up, and we didn't want to, for one, spook anything, and two, just walk off a cliff. So we kind of just hung out. The weather was supposed to break like mid-afternoon or something like that. So we just ended up hanging out and taking a little nap and waiting for the afternoon to break open, and had something warm, some lunch and stuff like that, and didn't move too much before we broke into the alpine, and that worked out really well. But I don't really like to move around too much in the fog. I mean, especially if I don't know the area. I mean, you got your GPS and all, but you still, I mean, you still don't want to jump any animals because that's why you're up there. So
Yeah,
try to be like cautious about it.
I felt really good about myself using. There was a buck that I was looking to shoot, and then clouds kind of came in, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." And I really, really knew this mountain. I've been on top of it multiple times, and so I used the fog to be able to close the distance. I knew exactly where I was, and so I was like, "Man, that was a great call." But I thought, wait, mate, was that kind of dumb? Because you can only maybe do that in that context. And I agree with you that you could definitely get in that walking off a cliff, or just you could know the mountain and be discombobulated and end up being up somewhere that you don't want to be. So I ended up thinking maybe that was more lucky than anything else. I didn't have to move too much, but I was able to close a little bit on the deer and ended up getting the deer. But
There you go.
it ended up good, but maybe not make that a habit.
Well, I mean, if it's like in and out, like blowing just across the top, I mean, you're putting a stock on an ammo, I would definitely use that to my advantage. But I mean, when it's just like there and it's going to stay around for a couple hours, I probably wouldn't move around too much. But that's just my personal opinion. So
yeah. So what's going to be different about the goat versus the deer? I have limited experience. I've been on one hunt, but I've been up in the mountains, and you kind of hike around and you kind of see where the goats are. There seem to be a lot more obvious. Are they, in your experience, can you kind of hunt all day for the goats? Sometimes the deer, when the sun comes out, you kind of have it a couple hours in the morning, but midday is there's nothing going on. So are there some differences or similarities with hunting goats and deer?
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plans shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
So the nice part about goats, my limited experience, I mean, they're white. So if there's not a whole lot of snow, which there's still quite a bit up there, they're going to stick out like a sore thumb in that bright green grass. So I think a few of them will bed out throughout the day. But, I mean, in my opinion, you can probably hunt them all day long because so I think the first time I went up, we hunted all day long. And they weren't moving too much. I mean, just wherever the food was. And then a few of them would bed down, but I mean, I'm no expert, so I would hunt them all day long. We're going to try to. So, provided we can get out of the tent if it's not blowing sideways, but, I definitely try to hunt them all day long. Whereas like the deer, it seems like they just disappear. Like once it gets too hot, they just kind of like disappear. I think the goats, they'll just hang out throughout the day and just bed up kind of like where you can see them. So
I think it was two summers ago where it hadn't rained for about a week until the opener. And then, so the opener, like, we were up on the mountain ready for it. And at very like pre-light, we saw a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm.
By the time it was shooting light, like they were gone. They were gone all day. Like there was no, until it rained about 3 days later. And then we happened to be up on the mountain when it stopped and they popped and it was good to go. But yeah, man, those things disappear, especially if it's been dry a couple of days leading up, which doesn't sound like that's going to be much of a problem here. Should have plenty of water. And
there's still a lot of snow up in the mountains right now too, for it being almost the end of July here. So it's there's still which is a good thing. I mean, if you do get something down, you can go stash it in the snow, keep it cold. But yeah, kind of cool. So
we had really nice warm summer last year. We didn't have much of a snowpack, and so you had those rivers that were really super low. I think the last 2 years maybe. But this year we had a really nice snowpack, and then it's been raining. It's like, dude, we don't need both. It's just if you have a good snowpack, maybe it can rain, once or twice a week, but we don't need a whole month of rain if we have a great snowpack too. But
I'd settle for a nice happy medium, a little here, a little there.
Yeah, just give me a high ceiling, nice and cool.
Yep, high ceilings, like you were saying.
Yeah. As far as mileage per day, I'm thinking about once I get to my access point, so I'm up kind of where I'm going to be. I'm going to be about maybe a mile or so from where things really open up, and I think I'll really start hunting. Are you going to be camping like right in their bedroom, or are you going to be kind of like off in the garage, and then you have a little bit of work to do in the mornings to go get to their area?
We are going to try to stay kind of in their garage, like what you were saying. We don't want to, just because we're going up a day or two before season, and we don't want to spook anything, get anything all riled up before we can't even shoot them. So we're probably going to stay just far enough to where we can glass them, but it's not too far the next morning to where we can make a move. That's just our game plan right now. That could change once we get up there. Who knows? We could run into goats like as soon as we get up there. So it's a whole new area for all three of us. So it should be a good time.
Yeah. What about for deer? Because I've been on a couple of spots where I hiked up, you get to the top of the mountain and then you end up being right. You didn't really intend to be, but you're like right in there. I've unzipped, this is on Prince of Wales, unzipped the tent and 50 yards from me was a bedded deer. I was
Oh,
like,
dang.
so I put my boots on, but like halfway, and then shot it there. So is that same sort of plan that you run with deer?
Kind of try to, but those deer, man, they seem to bed just about wherever, especially when it's raining or where it's been raining the day before. They just like bed wherever. I remember last year, we were up on a mountain over there, and just the fog started to break. So we're like, okay, well, let's start heading up. And we started heading up, and just deer just right out in the open, which it was. The fog was in and out, so we thought, oh yeah, we'll get up there and then we'll see if we can see something. And just deer just bedded like around every corner, around just in every little hump. It was pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
that's kind of tough.
The population density is a huge thing. I was talking to a buddy down here about mule deer, and he
Mm-hmm.
was saying that you hike for about an hour in the dark to get to your glassing spot, and you want to arrive at your glassing spot right at first light. And I thought, man, hike for an hour to get to that spot, like.
That's a
And I
ways
said
away.
we usually like camp in spots where you could almost shoot from camp. And I was, well, sometimes that's intentional, sometimes it's unintentional, but it definitely does speak to the population density. And if you're looking at a couple mule deer that might be in the area versus, if you're on the right mountain, man, you could be right in the thick of a whole bunch, and you might blow two or three unbeknownst to you, and then you
Mm-hmm.
get a shot on the third one. So you might know it's the third one. It could be the third choice, or maybe you don't even know that. You think the first deer you see is the one that you shoot. So population density, man, that's so nice to be able to have that.
Oh yeah, definitely nice to be able to just pick and choose, and then if you scare off one or two, you're still all right because there's still a whole bunch more on the other side, and you're not even starting yet. So
Yeah, drawing that mule deer tag down here, man, it's really got me thinking. Got a really nice buck on the game cam, but now I got all that time to wait.
yeah, it's exciting. It's
Oh,
gonna be hard to gonna be
there's
hard to
so much between here and there. It's gonna. I'm so excited for that. But I got goat and I got deer between now and then you've got the dynamic of it being surrounded by private land, and
Mhm.
then you might only get one shot, and you're hoping for just one shot because there's no guarantee that you're going to get one shot. It's just a whole different
So
program. So, yeah.
is that a rifle tag then that you want?
They do it to where you can, if you draw the tag, you can use either one, but there's an archery specific season. So the archery season is in September.
Okay.
So I could hunt at archery, or I could come down here in October to hunt a 2-week rifle season, or
Yeah.
I could use archery during the rifle, but you might as well bring the rifle if you're gonna hunt it during rifle season. So.
No kidding. And is that your first hunt down there?
I did an antelope last year, unsuccessfully. My girlfriend Abby drew, Abby. She drew elk, and as a resident, you can just get the over the counter type stuff. She drew a really good mule deer tag and got an elk tag. So we were hunting mule deer, and it was just for rifle last year. It was in a unit that was October 1st through the 14th, and just a different ballgame, man, because during the day you're seeing absolutely nothing. You're waiting for that last like 15 minutes of sunlight, and that's when you're hoping something emerges. And when it doesn't, you're like, oh, dude, this is something else. So
Wild.
the area that we've been seeing them in is a little bit more open, and it's just a small little pocket of public land. So it makes me nervous, but hoping that maybe it's an overlooked spot that people aren't going to say, oh, that's they're going to want bigger space where they can hike, or they can take a 4-wheeler or something like that in there. So it's different. And then my antelope hunt was in this area that had nothing, that was no vegetation that was higher than like your shin, and it was
Wow.
flat. Like I had no clue how to put a stock on these things, and you got within 400 yards, it's gone. And
Sounds tough.
yeah, I ended up figuring out there's like some little drainage wash type stuff, just a little bit of texture. So I started using those to get closer. But then every time that you like kind of get down to get a shot, there's like another little hump between you and them. And so you almost have to sit or shoot sitting, or just a crash course and everything. So I did everything wrong. And there were cows.
Oh,
Uh,
weird.
it was a hunter management area in which the local owners, they allow people to hunt their land as long as you don't shoot their cows. And so there was one where it was just a doe antelope tag, but there were cows all around it. And I thought, man, I can't take that shot because what if it goes through the antelope and hits a cow? And I
That
ruined
would be a bad
everything.
day for sure.
And there were like farms that were kind of sprinkled in there too. And so you're looking at it, it's so flat. There's something in the background. You're like, dude, I can't. So there were the easiest opportunities I had, or the best shots I had, there were cows involved and there was a house maybe. So I didn't take any shots. So it was chaos, man. It was nuts. But,
Sounds tough.
Yeah.
Makes me appreciate art hunting.
I know, dude, so much. So excited for whatever land you could ever want to walk around on.
Yeah. So when do you get back?
I get back on Friday.
Cool.
And then I guess the test they're doing at the airport takes between 3 to 5 days to get the results.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take probably at least 5 days after that, because now you got those cases of people who tested negative, but the virus wasn't viable in them yet, so it didn't pick it up, but they still had it and like went and hung out with people and then gave people the virus. Like, oh my gosh. So
yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
No, I lead a fairly non-social life anyway, so it's not going to be that much of a difference. But I just want to make sure that there's no chance. So, yeah, I'll probably be back in town waiting for the results, and if they're negative, then wait a couple more days just to make sure everything's good to go, and then go from there. But
that's a good plan.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to get back. It's nice to be here, and it's nice to be in some sun. And of course, nice to spend time with Abby. But
yep,
get that time of season, man. There's only so many pictures of people catching king salmon that you can handle if you haven't.
Yeah, no kidding. So is your buddy going to be able to make it down to go with you?
No, he is not. He had some complications.
That's too bad.
Not revealing too much, So,
yeah. Next year anyway.
Yeah. So, I'm just gonna go deer on the opener, and then when Abby comes up, we'll head out to head after some goat. So run the program I was going to for the opener, but just go with Abby and look for a goat. So it's
good. At least you're still gonna get out there.
Yeah.
Try to find one.
Yeah. So it was actually gonna be, I was gonna just pack for my buddy. And then when Abby got up here, hopefully get one there. So now it's just changing the opener from goat to deer. And it's nice to have, seasons that are long enough. Down here or most places, it's between 10 days and 3 weeks. So it's nice to be able to have,
options.
Yeah,
when plans change.
Down, it would have been awesome. But yeah, you have that option. It's an easy switch. I'll run my my typical opening day deer program that's been successful the last couple of years. So.
Good plan.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be exciting. Hopefully we get the weather. I'm trying not to look at the 2-week forecast, but it's hard not to when you got these big plans.
Yeah.
That's all you look forward to pretty much all year long. And it's like, oh, it's going to rain 2 inches.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is I think that at the 2-week or even a 10-day, they'll either throw out a partly sunny to get you excited, like, oh, dude, but it's going to rain, but the opener might be good. And then like 5 days out, they change it to rain again. Yep. Or they just say rain, man. It's just going to rain forever because they don't want to change it. And then if it ends up not raining, then it doesn't rain. But, yeah, those forecasts are a little bit funky. I look at them too, but I don't trust them until it's the day before. And even then I'm thinking, all right, unless it says sunny and 0 chance, then I don't, because if it says 20% chance, I'm anticipating it raining 20% of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. Usually check about 2 or 3 of them and then just take it from there, get a rough idea of what it might do.
Yeah. So with your bow and this mountain goat, obviously it's something that you thought about. So I'll bring it up, but you make a good shot, a kill shot. The thing still might have some juice to be able to take off a little bit. Are you concerned about it taking a header off a cliff, or is that going to be into? Are you going to be a little bit more cautious about where you shoot a goat because it could take off a little bit?
I'm going to be very cautious because I do not want to go after it off one of these cliffs around here. No, I have definitely thought about that. Last year, I went and packed for a buddy who won the Deer Mountain tag, catch again tag, and yeah, he shot that thing like 2 times in the boiler room, and it still had some life in it. I'm like, oh my gosh! So thinking be fairly cautious and reserved when it comes to flinging an arrow at a goat. Definitely not going to shoot one that's right above a cliff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be very cautious. Don't want to put myself in a bad situation or one of my buddies either. So, or let alone not even be able to get the animal back. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
definitely not why I'm out there. So
Did
yeah,
the that shot it twice? Did the goat run? 'Cause on the one goat hunt that I was on with my buddy, he shot it, dropped it, and then the goat just stood up and he shot it again. So there wasn't really much movement. It was just like it took the first hit, stood up, was like, whoa, and then it took another one. So what was the reaction on the part of the goat the first time?
so this one was bedded, and he hit it a good shot, not far away at all. I mean, a couple more yards, and he probably would have been in long bow range. But it wasn't over a very steep cliff, but it was over. We would have had to got on all fours and crawl down to get to it, but we just didn't want to take that chance. And it sucked up the first one and just kind of stood up and didn't know what was going on, and then he just put the second shot into it, and then he just kind of did this hunchback tumble and didn't go too far after that, which we didn't know behind him there was just kind of this little pocket that caught him, so it wasn't too terrible. But we just didn't know what was on the other side. We could kind of see it, but it wasn't very. We just didn't want to take any chances, so he just put 2 of them, and he stood up on the first one, and then just took the second one, and then just rolled over. So
Yeah, I've
went,
seen that a couple
went
times
pretty
where
good.
they're tough suckers, but sometimes you'll shoot a deer and it'll run 50 yards then die. It just they have
Yeah,
it's going. It seems maybe I don't want to jinx it for either of us, but it seems that there's more of the absorb and figure out rather than panicked run after being hit. So hopefully that remains true.
yeah, those goats, man, they're tough animals.
Dude, they're so cool. What I know this is really getting ahead of the game there, but what are you going? Would you go mount? Would you go rug? Would you go? What's the plan?
If I did get one down, I would probably just do like a Euro. Maybe bring the hide down. I'm not too sure. Um, that sounds like a super heavy pack with meat and goat hide on there. So haven't thought too far ahead. Probably for sure just a Euro, because Euros are kind of fun. You can do so many different things with them, and they're fairly inexpensive. So probably try a Euro first, and then unless he's an absolute giant, then he'll probably have to end up on the wall.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm curious about the fur when they're in the winter coat. It's just kind of like I don't know. It just doesn't really look like much. But when they get shaggy, man, that looks pretty sweet. And so I'm not sure what state they'll be in now because there is snow up there and it hasn't been super hot. You know, who knows what they're going to look like. But yeah, I kind of, that weight thing is in the back of my head too, because these things,
mhm.
you know, what Fish and Game says they can have, 80 pounds of meat, potentially boned out meat. So you split that 2 people and then you add in the hide, man. That's so you better eat all your food for that one. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully you get in the situation to have to make that decision. But
Yeah,
so
certainly wouldn't be a bad thing. I know when I helped my buddy out, we went up at the end of October, and the goat that he shot, it had like 5 inches of hair on the backside of it. That thing was just beautiful. Had an awesome coat on it. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be like in August, like you're saying. So especially because we haven't had near the amount of sun. So it'll be interesting. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm stoked, man. What favorite recipe for sheep or goat? Whoa, different there.
Ooh. So we had the local guy here who makes sausage, and he did up a bunch of the snack sticks. Those were absolutely awesome. We did try to like steak some up, and that was pretty tough. It was pretty darn tough. So probably do some burger and some snack sticks from the guy here in town, and then that's about it. Hopefully, save some steaks for some room for steaks for venison and elk, but we'll see. That's a long ways out.
Yeah, dude, that elk hunt is gonna be that's gonna be sweet. We'll have to do a whole
Yeah.
podcast on that one. Have you been to
Oh yeah.
Edalin before?
What's that?
Have you been to Edalin before?
I've been there as a Sherpa for one of my friends, long time ago. So it's been a while.
Yeah. I was there before I knew anything at all. And my two buddies have never even shot deer. So I was the lead and I didn't know anything, but they were in crazy good shape. So we'd have been able to pack it good, but just finding it was no good. It ended up being an awesome camping trip. But yeah,
that's a tough island to try to start out and learn on, from what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
So, do you have any plans if you get a goat down, if you're going to do a mount or a Euro or what?
same boat as you. I think the European sounds good, and then if the hide's good, I have a bear wall blanket, and I don't know. I've seen a couple goat blank rugs that there's no head on it, and it's like the hooves are off, and it just looks like a white fur casual blanket that you'd have on the back of like your couch or like on the back of like your chair. So nothing crazy. And I kind of like that look. So you can have the European mount, and then you have the, oh, where'd you get that rug? Oh, it's actually a goat. So those things that you can't really drape the whole head and everything on the back of a couch. I don't know.
They are pretty big.
Yeah, I think a shoulder mount coming out of the wall is I kind of like that look. I think more than the just splayed out body. So I don't know. I think everything will in the moment. I'll look at the hair, look at the size, and heavy, and make the call then. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Cool.
Wow. So any other closers? Anything to follow up about goat hunt or advice stuff that you've learned or anything like that going into it?
No, I'm still fairly green. I just excited to go. The two other guys that I'm going with, they haven't been yet. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of goats when we've hiked around here. So they definitely know what they look like. So, and I don't think anyone's going to be picky. I think everyone's just going for a good time and trying to get either their first goat or just a goat for some meat in the freezer. And yeah, so just to check out some new areas should be a lot of fun. So excited to try.
The corner.
Yeah, just around the corner. Yeah, my legs are feeling it today.
I've done a couple long hikes here with the altitude's been nice. Abby and I packed way too much food when we went on the 3 dare. So when we hiked our 12 miles out, it was pretty much all downhill, but 12 miles with a heavier pack, and almost all of it was above 10,000 feet. So
nice.
We split it up going in. We did 7 miles, and then about 5 miles to get to the place we camped. Then we fished, so it ended up being about 14 miles that day. But put some miles in it. But that's with light packs. I'm just thinking, your body remembers. But that first time you put on the pack with the meat, you're like, oh, dude, whoa, this is.
Yeah, it's the feeling of success is what I like to call it.
Yeah. Reward is that,
Just
but
got to embrace the suck the whole way down.
yeah. So I've done altitude training and I've done some mileage training, but man, there's nothing like the adrenaline, but then the poor sleep, and then the coffee, and then you put on that heavy pack. There's a lot of chemicals going on in the brain.
Yes, there are. A lot of wondering why you're doing it. Then
Yeah,
you're ready to go up again as soon as you get down.
yeah,
A lot of fun.
absolutely.
So are you going rifle with your goat?
Yeah, I'm gonna go rifle. I need to get some more things down with the bow before I go with that, and then
Yeah.
um,
Cool.
yeah. So
What rifle are you shooting?
I got a 270. Shoots pretty flat. I like it, comfortable with it, and so that's kind of what when people say they you could buy a 300 Win mag just for that, but I got a lot more hours shooting that thing, and so that the whole placement game. I feel much more comfortable shooting the placement game with the 270 than trying to buy something else and in 2 weeks try to get it comfortable. So
Yeah, that could come back to bite you if you try to rush it or do anything
yeah,
like that. So cool.
if I was going to go something bigger, I should have got something bigger, and been shooting it all year, which I haven't done. So I like the 270, and some guides recommend the 270, but you could find anything out there that you want to find. You could find that you need to gear up. You could find that 270 works as long as there's placement. So
Yep.
kind of choose what you're going to do and then go with it, just like you with the bow. And last year when you were, I'm just going to help bow hunt, put myself in the situation. I practiced confident with it, so
Yep. Now if there's no sticks in front of me, we'll be all right.
yeah, dude. I was looking at a picture of that. That was in November.
Yeah.
Huh.
I guess. I don't know. We went out hunting a lot last fall. There was a whole bunch of hunting going on.
I thought maybe I had downloaded it onto my computer like at a later date, but no, it was November. That was late season.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think it had to have been November because I think that was the weekend, the second to the last weekend, because I ended up leaving the bow at home and then taking the rifle on the last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up not hunting the last weekend, I think. But yeah, because I got my first one the last weekend of October, third one overall, second rut one. And then we had that crazy week. So it was like mid-November that it was nuts. And we both had our bows.
Intact.
That was, I got a couple game cams out there.
Oh, cool.
And I want to see what's happening.
Oh, there's definitely going to be some happening.
I know, man. I got
anything like last year. That's exciting.
That seems like the place that could have them. I'm going to check my cams when I get back and just kind of see what's there. Maybe I've got to do alpine at least once, but I might head back there just because. Hey, man, they don't have to be in the mountains. If they don't have to go up there, then they can live in the swamps. Then why not, right?
Yeah, that's a good plan, especially if it's somewhat nasty, just to get something in the freezer.
Yeah. Or at least get that crazy day in which everything just goes haywire. Maybe get out of the system now.
Yep. Just to calm the itch a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, it's about dinner time. Thanks for taking time out of your day for this, and good luck.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, we'll be in touch.
Yep, for sure. When you get back after you're Corona free.
Yeah. All right. Take care, man.
All right. See you later. Have a good one.